And now the Adventures of Nick and Willikins.
This is England. Actually, that's a lie. We're really getting off on the wrong foot here. I don't want you thinking that I'm one of those unreliable narrators. No, this is not England at all. This is, in fact, a barely coherent caricature of England perpetrated by two men who have never even left North America. Consequently, the game you're about to play will almost certainly be riddled with inaccuracies, anachronisms, and bad accents. Like truly terrible accents you people don't even want to know. Anyway, they dragged me out of retirement to tell this story, and I'm not about to waste my extremely valuable time defending the ill-conceived choices of its writers. So, moving on. This is England, and this is the ancestral home of the wealthy and powerful Nick family, currently presided over by its last surviving male heir, young Nick of Nick Hall. Assisting Nick in the extremely complicated business of washing and dressing himself, along with the general maintenance of Nick Hall itself, we have this man. He answers to the name Willikins, but his young master has called him so many other things. Willikins is also one of the last of a dying breed, a breed of dedicated manservants tirelessly devoted to the well-being of their assigned charges, no matter the circumstances.
I cannot overstress the importance of following the instructions of one's master, no matter how seemingly misguided, unethical, or even mortally dangerous they might be. Ours is to serve, not to question. All of this being said, one does have some latitude when it comes to addressing one's betters. Traditionally, it is acceptable to adopt one of the three basic attitudes, as observed and practiced by the great Western powers of servitude. The first, and one to which I must admit a bit of bias, is the British method, which stresses politeness and civility. This method is kind without being overly familiar, good enough to sustain an empire of nearly 1,000 years, so certainly good enough for the likes of you. Second is the one preferred by our American brethren, the friendly approach, presenting the illusion of being the master's equal, despite the fact that you both clearly know which of you is the lord and which is the lorded. Finally, there's the aggressive method, typically employed by our old friends, the Germans. No great surprise there, while obviously not advocating outright hostility towards the master. It does emphasize the notion that even the most noble among us may, on occasion, require a bit of helpful prodding. Right, so, young Willikins, kindly choose one of these methods and demonstrate it to me and the rest of the class.
I'd be more than happy to demonstrate it for you, my friend.
While I personally find this an utterly reprehensible way to compose oneself, this is indeed a correct application of the friendly American method. Mr. Willikins, you'll make a fine manservant someday.
Willikins, you're the worst manservant what ever lived. Now stop daydreaming about your boring past and tend to my needs.
So begins another exhausting day for me here at Nick Hall.
Too right, Willikins. As per our usual routine, I have prepared an itinerary of daily activities for you.
Oh, good.
Item 1. Much like the princess in that story about the wee-stained mattress, I have detected something amiss with my bed. Have a look under there, won't you?
Very good, sir. Ah, so there is something under here. A charger for a mobile phone.
That's what we call cellular phones in England.
Rather. I'll just tidy this up then.
Adequate job, Willikins. 5 out of 10. Honestly, you must try harder.
Oh, must I?
Now then, item the second. I'm hungry.
You're mungry, sir?
Hungry, with an H. Now, I know you have some food squirreled away on your person, and I demand that you feed it to me forthwith and hence. Here too. And such.
I'm not sure why I bother. He'll inevitably reject this and any subsequent offerings, no matter what they are. Sums up my existence rather neatly, I suppose. Pizza, hamburger, sir.
Caw, that old thing, you made me that yesterday. It's rubbish. Bung it down a loo.
Of course, sir. That'll be the first of, no doubt, many then.
Now that that important business is settled, I want you to go downstairs and prepare me some proper brekkie. You know what I like. I want you to take at least 2 seemingly incompatible food items and combine them in a new and interesting way. Or an old and boring way, what I've forgotten about. Go on, off you go.
Very good, sir.
Oh, and Willikins,
Sir?
remember it's Thursday, which means you may only prepare the items on my revised menu of foods what I will only eat on Thursdays. You will know these foods when you see them.
Right, that thing. Very, as I said once already, good, sir. Master Nick typically dines alone and seats himself here at the head of the table. On occasion, he'll ask me to join him at what he calls the arse of the table. The official name for these is Other Swords. I suppose that helps distinguish them from the, other swords. A thrilling depiction of that time some blokes threatened a vicar with a cannon and also sang a song to him. Some conspiracy nutters believe there's a cryptic message of some sort hidden in this illustration. Yet another view of Master Nick's so-called hedge maze of doom. Particularly foreboding in this light, I'd say. I have no snark to offer here. I'm quite sincerely fond of how those candles flicker. We don't actually know this person. I believe we purchased this painting in an estate sale of some kind. An ancient ancestor of Master Nick's, with whom he was also once romantically involved. Our history, like the history of most great English families, is complicated and a bit incestuous. Theoretically, this is for sitting in. But I'm the only person who ever visits this room, and I'm forbidden to sit. So I'm not sure what its actual purpose is. In medieval times, that was used to wash clothes in. Now it's mostly for preparing something that Master Nick calls trouser stew. This contains file cards with some of the most sumptuous dishes ever concocted. I've never once opened this box in all the years I've worked here. All great English homes have tea. I'd commit ritual suicide if we didn't. So naturally, Master Nick regularly tries to surreptitiously dispose of this tea to make me do that. Hilarious. Perfect for raw chicken, raw pork, and any other disease-carrying slabs of unprepared animal flesh. Master Nick's Thursday menu does indeed allow for this particular ingredient. If I had a pound for every time I've had to explain what Jaffa cakes are to non-British people, I'd be dead. These were not here an hour ago, and I know for a fact that Master Nick has not left his bedroom since then. He must have some sort of hidden dumbwaiter or something. An impulse purchase after Master Nick went through his Yan can cook phase. Unsurprisingly, it's never been used. Well, for food preparation at any rate. Master Nick's Thursday menu does indeed allow for this particular ingredient. Well, now I've got a haddock. There appears to be something hidden just beneath this top layer of potatoes. Master Nick has rather cleverly hidden his cold, soggy chips under these raw potatoes. Well, you can't deny there's a certain logic to that. Master Nick's Thursday menu does indeed allow for this particular ingredient. Master Nick insists upon having at least 8 stone of potatoes available at any given moment. I believe this was after he'd seen a documentary about Elvis on the telly. The H is most decidedly not silent. Perfect for raw chicken, raw pork, and any other disease-carrying slabs of unprepared animal flesh. Perhaps calling this surf and turf is being a bit generous, but it's not like Master Nick will know the bloody difference. There he is, the person to whom I have dedicated my entire working life.
Positively revolting. Honestly, Willikins, I don't know what you think you're bloody doing in that kitchen. But I've half a mind to just say sod it and prepare my own brekkie.
Indeed, sir.
Now bung this down a loo and make me something else.
It's a sink. Or basin? Blast, where's my English to American dictionary? Under the cotton ball in this bottle is another cotton ball.
It's cotton balls all the way down, Willikins.
And they say we British don't take good care of our teeth.
I've never seen that object before in my life.
Where there was one set of footprints, that's where I was carrying you. Inspiring. These are meant to say N+S, meaning us. No, I don't get it either. Also, that's not actually what they say, so I suppose that's as close to resolved as we're likely to get round here.
Now get your bum, and the rest of you, down to the kitchen and make me a proper meal. You know what they say, Willikins. Third time's probably going to be rubbish as well, because everything you do is rubbish.
Is that what they say, sir?
Well, that's what I say.
Well, I can't be sure, but I expect this does not bode well.
Has Nick done something untoward? Is it even possible to do something toward? And if he has, will Willikins remain loyal per the rigidly binding ancient codes of English servitude? Find out, well, now. Seriously, you didn't think we'd just stop here, did you? Who would give you just part of a game? That's just cruel.
That came from the entrance hall. Much as I am loath to do so, I suppose it's my duty to investigate. Now, I'm certain there was no corpse in this room when I tidied in here earlier. I suppose I'd better phone someone about this. I dare say he looks familiar, but it's difficult to tell with him lying face down like that. Also, I'm certain I don't know any corpses. I really should call someone about this. There's only one telephone in this house, and it's currently upstairs somewhere. The West Wing is approximately 80% asbestos by design, so it's probably best to steer clear of that. The battery for this mobile phone is bereft of life. It rests in peace. And that's quite enough of those references now, thank you.
That is a bit of a silly walk you're doing, Willikins, now you mention it.
Animators cost money, sir. I'm doing my best. It's still bloody charging, because of course it is, so I'll just leave it here and use the speaker function.
Emergency services, how may I direct your call?
Listen, I haven't time for chit-chat or other such fripperies. There's been a murder. Please send an officer to Nick Hall at once.
Of course, sir. Wouldn't dream of wasting your precious time. We'll get on that right away, we will.
Morning all. I'm Detective Inspector Bobby of the West End Particulars.
Inspector Bobby of the Yard?
That'll be enough of that. Now then, I'm here about the corpse in your entrance hall.
Oh, that thing.
And this would seem to be a rather open and shut case. The victim, one Errol of Not Nick Hall, has clearly been murdered by you, Nick of Nick Hall.
You got nothing on me, coppers.
Actually, we've got quite a bit on you, sir. But under the circumstances being that you're rich, white, and clearly male, we can remand you to your residence of domesticity forthwith, and until such time as the court sees fit to hang you by your neck until dead.
That seems fair.
Oh, then I wasn't clear, was I? You, sir, are accused of murder and will be taking you away shortly. This will be very sad for you, and obviously for your manservant.
Yes, obviously.
So, just stay here and we'll be back for you soon. Cheerio!
Do people actually say cheerio?
Sir, I feel you're not taking this murder investigation seriously, and I must insist.
Oh, you must you? Well, I must. I must increase my bust.
Oh, dear Lord.
Willikins, what's a bust? And how do I increase it? And why would I want to?
Gentlemen, a crime has been committed, and it can only be solved by me, the greatest detective in all of England.
Oh, is that where we are?
Allow me to introduce myself. Special Inspector Clever Ruse at your service.
Well, if you're at my service, make me an egg.
My God, has this man been deprived of his breakfast? That in itself is a tragedy, but not a crime as such. Nevertheless, it's the most important meal of the day. Who's responsible for this grievous error in judgment?
That would be me,
You look after this lad, do you?
in a manner of speaking.
So clearly this incident is your fault.
Ooh, I hadn't considered that angle.
That's because you're not Cleveroo's lad.
Sorry, not sure I'm following the logic here. How is this my fault? Are we going with the tired old Butler did it cliché?
For all we know, the tired old butler did do it.
No, you misunderstand. Obviously, you're a man of breeding, sophistication, education. Oxford man, are you?
Cambridge, actually.
Oh. Well, we can't have everything, I suppose. In any case, they should have taught you. Even at a bin-liner school like Cambridge.
It was recently ranked the 4th best university in the world.
So not even worth a bronze, then, right? Your master's safety and well-being is your responsibility. Consequently, it falls to you to exonerate his lordship.
Really, I would have thought the great detective.
Here, take this. It's the official Cleveroo's My First Crime Scene Investigation colouring book. And that's colouring with a U, naturally.
Naturally.
This will guide even the most thick-witted Cambridge dunderhead through the process of forensic murder solvery. Essentially, it comes down to 4 elements. Motive, murder weapon, at least one corroborating witness, and proof of the suspect's sanity.
Good luck with all that, Willikins.
As you locate each of these, you may colour in, and that's colour with a U, the corresponding area of the page. When you've coloured the entire page, phone me, and I shall be along at once. Cleveroo's away!
Oh, Willikins, did he just disappear in a cloud of smoke?
So it would appear.
Or disappear? Huh? Do you get it? Willikins? You still there?
I applaud their efforts, but I dare say I've overcome significantly heartier barriers to my duties. Getting an idea of who this was and why he's here would be an excellent idea, and this police tape is hardly going to stop me. But I'd rather not contaminate the crime scene with my own fingerprints.
Cool, there's been a right argy-bargy out there this morning, and I was described as a full-on foofera. What on earth is going on?
There's been a murder. How could you possibly have not realized this from only 2 rooms away?
Well, in future, see that you keep your so-called manners someplace where I can't hear them. I nearly couldn't get back to sleep after all that racket.
My God, this man has the head of a coat hanger. Hello, Sam. I mean, Max. These clothes have been freshly laundered, but now they're affixed to the floor with sock glue. Well, aren't I a hoopy frood? It's a rubbish bin. Rubbish goes in here.
And yet you're not in it. Well, you can stay out of there. That area is off limits to you.
It would appear that a brand new pair of rubber gloves, or hand wellies as Master Nick calls them, has fallen into the bin. Bit of a reach, don't you think? I'd rather not contaminate the crime scene with my own fingerprints. I can't quite reach to turn him over, but I did manage to dislodge the man's wallet. There's very little in here. The identification says his name is... oh, it's Errol. The general ruffian and ne'er-do-well who frequently burgles our home. There also appears to be a note here that says, "In case of emergency, call this number." Well, that certainly sounds like a clue.
Hello, this is Nick!
Sir, I'm trying to determine who may have had a connection to the body in our entrance hall. Why on earth would you be answering a number that I found in the deceased's pocket?
Errol. As you know, Willikins, Errol's my friend. But I did tell him that he'd better not rob us again or I'll bloody kill him.
Sir, you've put me in a very awkward position here, because I do appear to have found a motive for Errol's murder. However, that motive belongs to you.
Finally, you did something right.
No, sir, this means you're still very much a suspect.
Well, obviously you're not going to say that to the detective since you're duty-bound to protect me. So, I don't know, tell him someone else had a motive. I'm sure you can make up some lie or another. You somehow convinced my family you were a decent butler when you were hired, so you're obviously extremely skilled at deception.
Those things don't go together. I'm sorry, I know you want them to, but they just don't. That detective fellow gave me this. It's meant to track my progress in gathering the 4 elements that can exonerate Master Nick. Motive, murder weapon, proof of sanity, and a witness. As of now, I've managed to locate a motive.
Willikins, stay out of there. That area is off limits to you.
I applaud their efforts, but I dare say I've overcome significantly heartier barriers to my duties. I dare say he looks familiar, but it's difficult to tell with him lying face down like that. Also, I'm certain I don't know any corpses. Once is quite enough times to make physical contact with a corpse in a single day, thanks. It's a door. We don't have a special word for door here. It's the same as your American doors. This was identical to the bust over there, but we left it on the dash of the car on a hot day. It seems that someone attempted to deliver a package around the time of the murder. I wonder if the delivery person saw anything. It appears to have one of those bloody QR codes on it that everyone seems to think people actually use. This one looks more like an owl to me. This was left by an activist of some sort. It appears to have been left here somewhere around the time our deceased friend arrived in the entrance hall.
Daffodils, those are for heroism. Daisies, they're for baking.
It's just a jumble of numbers and letters which apparently communicate some vital piece of information to the Royal Mail. It says 00D4L4Y.
Lime blossom, there's a randy fellow. Azaleas, that's for good luck in the coming fiscal year.
What, are you expecting it to sing a little song? This isn't France. I do hope we've been very clear on that point.
Welcome to Stuffbringers Intercontinental. Do you have the delivery slip that the driver left behind?
I have, yes.
And could you describe to me the animal that the QR code on the slip most closely resembles?
An owl. Definitely an owl.
Good, good. Right, now then, what is your postcode?
Of course. Our postcode is 00D4L4Y.
Good, good. Now then, I'll need the name of two of any of the recipient's direct ancestors.
Lady Beatrice. Her painted likeness smiles upon me every time I pass through our dining room.
Right, that's one.
I may need to get back to you on that. Could you hold the line, please?
Well, sir, unfortunately I shall need to terminate this call. Please feel free to call again when you have even the most basic of information required of you. Good day.
I have no idea who this is. Master Nick's great good Unc Grendel Thaddeus Q. Nickington IV, and some unknown gentleman upon his back.
Welcome to Stuff Bringers Intercontinental. Do you have the delivery slip that the driver left behind?
I have, yes.
And could you describe to me the animal that the QR code on the slip most closely resembles?
An owl. Definitely an owl.
Good, good. Right, now then, what is your postcode?
Of course. Our postcode is 00D4L4Y.
Good, good. Now then, I'll need the name of two of any of the recipient's direct ancestors.
Thaddeus Q. Nickington IV?
Well, technically that name is in our records, but it also clearly states that this individual is a horse. So, relative or not, I'm ruling it inadmissible.
Nick Sr.?
Sir, don't insult my intelligence. If you're going to lie, at least be smooth about it.
Right, sorry. Charlemagne?
No, sir.
I'm certain I saw on QI that every British person is a descendant of Charlemagne.
If that's the case, sir, it's hardly a good security question now, is it?
I may need to get back to you on that. Could you hold the line, please?
Well, sir, unfortunately I shall need to terminate this call. Please feel free to call again when you have even the most basic of information required of you. Good day.
Master Nick was rather proud that he could locate his own ear, so we marked the occasion with a statue. We don't actually know this person. I believe we purchased this painting in an estate sale of some kind. An ancient ancestor of Master Nick's, with whom he was also once romantically involved. Our history, like the history of most great English families, is complicated and a bit incestuous. A thrilling depiction of that time some blokes threatened a vicar with a cannon and also sang a song to him. Some conspiracy nutters believe there's a cryptic message of some sort hidden in this illustration. These are for purely scientific purposes. They contain molasses, and they're only to be used in January. It's actually much itchier and pointier than it looks, and it already looks quite itchy and pointy. I believe this one is called The Unicorn is in Captivity and Wishes It Was Still Dead. Exquisite. We had to pay that tiger 60 quid to lie down and pose for that. Oddly, the puppet's lips never moved, but Master Nick's did. This used to open, revealing a button that did nothing. Mercifully, it's since been sealed shut. They say Master Nick's good great-aunt Petunia once had tea with Queen Victoria, which, for those of you who haven't memorized the British monarchs, makes her extremely old. Ah, the king of the jungle. Except the part where lions don't live in jungles, nor do they have royalty. So they're basically Americans. I see you managed to avoid being murdered. Perhaps our mysterious assailant believed you were already dead.
Oh, I do enjoy our Faulty Towers' banter, don't you?
Is it even worth my time asking you about the weapon that may have been used in the recent incident in our entrance hall?
Yes!
Yes?
Well, in that your time is effectively worthless, so therefore anything you say or do would logically be worth more than your time, which is, as I mentioned previously, worthless.
Yes, of course. I'll get right to the point. Do you know anything about the corpse in our entrance hall?
Yeah, that's a bit unfair, isn't it? Just 'cause I'm practically a corpse my own self, you think I automatically know all corpses.
That's not exactly what I...
It's political correctness gone mad, it is. Also health and safety, probably.
I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you didn't see anything then. Miss Petunia, Mum, if it's not too much trouble, I require the name of one of Master Nick's ancestors.
Ooh, is this for some little project you're working on?
The project of exonerating his lordship of the murder charges, yes.
Well, let's see. There's me, of course.
Yes, I know that one.
But not in the biblical sense, eh, lad? Not due to a lack of trying on my part.
Rather. Could you perhaps provide me with a second name, Mum? Any ancestor at all will do.
What am I, a bloody gynecologist?
I believe you mean genealogist?
I'm not one of them neither. Go look at a painting or something. The hall's full of them. Surely one of those pictures is of someone we're related to.
Yes, well, thank you for your... I hesitate to say help, but in the absence of a more accurate word, it'll have to do.